Hey everyone, I thought it would be fun to teach you a class on how to do lightning today. And so as I was doing this project, I ran into several different areas where I just wasn't happy with the painting. In this project, I'm going to show you how I corrected that. So let's just go ahead and get started. Here is a list of all my colors. You can either copy it down, pause the video and copy the colors down, or check the description below. I have everything listed there that I'm using today. And I started out by taking the canvas and just giving it a good, nice, thin coat of liquid white. I just wanted to make sure the liquid white is evenly spread all over. I'm using a flat canvas panel, a 12 by 16 today. My favorite canvases. I love those small canvases. And I'm just going into a mixture of brown, alizarin, and blue. Now, I started out by using just those three colors in the sky, and then here, down here, I'm adding a little bit of alizarin. And this just to change the color so that there's more than just one color in the sky. And as you can see, it's kind of, it's uneven. It's not real even. The colors aren't even at all. It makes a more interesting sky that way. And down below, I'm just doing the same colors, just the brown, crimson, and blue, and just filling in on the bottom. And I want this color on the bottom to be just a slight bit darker than what's in the sky. And I'm going to have some landscape down here. And of course my lightning strike is going to be way up high. So just fill that in, get it all nice, and then when you're all done putting your base coat in there, just go ahead and just lightly go back and forth and just take out any of the big brush strokes. You don't want anything real super obvious showing in there. So just smooth it out some. Now going into those same colors, blue, crimson, I just want to make a little bit of a cloud pattern here. Not anything drastic, just a little bit of just cloudiness. If you prefer to use a different brush for this, you can do that. I just had the brush, the 1-inch brush in my hand, so that's what I'm using. I'm trying to make these clouds a little bit different on each side. I'd want them to, like this one I want starting way up high. The other one is starting down a little bit. So vary your cloud formation. And like I always say, if you don't want any clouds in your painting, then just don't put any in there. As simple as that. So I thought this would be something interesting and different today, since we've been having a tremendous amount of rain, and we've had some storms. I love the storms. Oh, I really love thunderstorms. When I was living in Minnesota as a little girl, oh my gosh, I thought they were so exciting. Tell me, are you one of those people that, are you afraid of the lightning and thunder? Do you go hide when you hear it? My sister's kind of that way. She does not like it at all. But me, on the other hand, I wait for those storms. I just love them. I'll go sit on the front porch and just watch for I don't know, hours if they last that long, which they don't, but if they did, I would watch that long. And sometimes I'll just make a bag of popcorn and I'll just go sit out there and just watch everything. My husband and I, we used to go sit outside in the carport whenever a thunderstorm came through. We had an absolutely perfect, beautiful view of storms, and yet we were sheltered. And it was so exciting. When I hear the thunder, it's like hearing God's voice, strong and massive, and just, oh, it's just a beautiful sound. I think thunder is a beautiful sound. And seeing the lightning strike is like God's brilliance. The light is just so brilliant. Only God could have that kind of a brilliance. And, you know, when it rains, I just think sometimes maybe that's God's tears. Maybe something he's not happy about. And he's just raining tears down to show his unhappiness. I don't know, that's probably my imagination, but that's what I think of when I'm sitting out there watching everything. So now I'm switching to my filbert brush, and I just want to load it with white. And just a tiniest little bit of yellow. So I don't want to use a pure white, just a yellow, and then just a little touch, very small touch of crimson. And I'm going to start up here in the sky, high in the sky, and just make a white spot like this. This is where the main part of my lightning strike is going to happen. So I just want to brighten that up right there. Try not to make it too large because your lightning only comes out of the sky in just like one area. It's not spread out through the whole sky. So keep your little area small here. Now I'm switching to my liner brush. And this is actually a wildlife brush. It's a longer brush than what the liner brush, the landscape brush is. It's longer bristles, so it holds more paint. And I kind of like the effect that I get from this. Now, kind of watch my hand as I'm doing this. Notice that I'm jiggling a lot, because lightning is not pure straight, at least most of the time it's not. I'm sure there's a few times when you'll see a strike and it's straight, but most of the time it's kind of jiggly, almost like a tree branch. And notice that I'm twisting my brush a little bit here and there. What that does is it's letting off more paint in some areas and less paint in other areas. So you're not getting just a solid white line, you're just getting a broken line. So it's a very interesting effect. So twist your brush. Make sure you have thinned your paint with oil medium. I forgot to say that. I dipped into oil medium first. And you want this very, very, very thin, so it flows off the brush really easy. And concentrate your lightness up high, right where the strike would be, where it would start from. Lightning strike is actually just an electrical charge that just comes down from the sky and hits the ground. So now I'm back to my dark colors. And I'm going to start putting in some landscape now. So here's my horizon line. I've got my horizon line pretty low this time. I want the lightning strike to be the highlight of the painting, so I'm making low land area. And I'm just touching to make little bushes. I've got a tree here, but the rest I've got just some little bushes. And just keep working across your canvas. And notice when I'm doing these bushes and trees that I kind of start out low and then I work up high, because what that does is it gives you your strongest color at the bottom, and then your lighter, lacier colors are more at the top. And so just make some land area, however you would like your land, however many trees you would like. I'm having my left and right trees larger because I want those to enclose the painting more. I love the way a filbert brush makes trees. It'll make evergreen trees. It just makes regular deciduous trees. I just really like the way the filbert brush works for so many things. So now it's starting to come along. I've switched to my fan brush because I want to add a few evergreen trees in, excuse me, a few evergreen trees in here. You can place these wherever you want. And they're a little bit of a darker color than the other greenery. And I'm just using black, blue, crimson, and a little bit of sap green. So notice I have a taller tree now and a shorter tree. And then here's just a few little odds and ends just to add interest to the painting. I love this time of year when it's all dark and dingy inside. And my sister, she's a sunshine person. She and I are so opposite sometimes. Most of the time we're really alike, but boy, there's a few things that we're just totally opposite. She loves the brightness and the sunshine, and I love the cloudiness and the gloomy days. It seems like, you know, I get so much more done when it's a gloomy outside, and I just things to do inside. There's so many things to do inside, and so yeah, I'm a cloudy day person. So now we're just adding these shadows down in the water, and try to duplicate what's above. And so if it goes up in the sky, then you want to bring it down into the water a little lower, so it's reflective of what's above. And I'm bringing it all the way down to the bottom of the canvas. So I think that's looking like it's reflective. Now with my 1-inch brush, I am just lightly bringing down, just pulling straight down, because I want to make a reflection in the water. And then just lightly, very lightly, go all the way across your canvas. Don't press too hard or you'll destroy that beautiful glimmer of glimmer on the water. And then we want to make that lightning strike hit in the water also, a reflection down there. Now I'm just adding a little bit of like a silver lining on some of the clouds. And with my bunny, I call it a bunny brush. It's just a very soft blender brush, but you'll hear me refer to it as a bunny brush a lot. Just lightly go across those cloud areas and just blend that out so they're not standing out. Just kind of blend them into the sky. Yeah, that looks good. It looks like the light's just hitting that a little bit. That's just what I want. So now I'm just taking my knife, and I'm just going to make a little bit of a land line, a division between the water and the land. And I've just used a slight bit of yellow and white, and then my dirty tree color. Again, so it's not pure white. Now, this is one of those areas that I'm not happy with, because when I stand back and I look at the painting, it looks like there's way too much sky and not enough land. So what I decided I want to do is just start making these trees a little bit higher, not drastically, but some, and trying to get the painting more in balance. Now yours may look just fine. You may not need to change yours at all, but this is what I'm doing on mine. And I'm just using those same dark colors, the black, not black, excuse me, brown, crimson, sap, and blue. And I want to darken this a little bit here just for variation of color. So this one still needs to be a little bit higher. Now I think this is starting to look a little bit better. And be sure and stand back periodically and look at your painting, because it makes such a difference. You know, when you're sitting real close, you really don't see anything. You don't see the perspective, you don't see the variations of color, you don't see if something's off. So the more you stand back and look, the better it is. You know, another trick I use a lot is just taking a mirror, and I'll turn around and look in the mirror at the painting, and then, boy, you can really tell a lot about the balance. So I'm still not happy. It's still not quite what I want. So I'm just going to fill this in a little bit more. And I'm going to bring this down further in the water so that this land is a little bit closer. Silence is nice once in a while, isn't it? And did you notice I put a little cabin over there? I did that. My camera wasn't on, but I stuck a little cabin in there in the trees on the right-hand side, but I don't like the cabin at all. So guess what? We're just going to paint right over the top of it. And just bring it right down into the water here. And this still needs to come up a little bit higher. Not much paint on my brush because I want this lacy. And just a little bit more over here. Just kind of inch your way into this, just what you think it needs. And I noticed also when I was looking into the camera, it looks lopsided. My water looks crooked, but actually it's not crooked. It's just the angle of my camera, the way it's facing my canvas. So it does look a little strange. But it's all okay. And it will be very pretty when it's done. At least I'm hoping so. And I'm just covering up some of this white area here. And bringing down these reflections a little bit more because I made it taller on the land, so I have to make it taller in the water. And with my 1-inch brush, again, just very lightly bringing down and then across. And if you have a lot of paint on your brush, be sure and wipe it off so you don't drag too much of that color into the water. And I want to darken this right here. The color is deep enough and dark enough that it would be darker in the water shadow. Most of the time when I'm doing a painting like this, if I do corrections, I'll do it after the painting is dry, but I decided this time I was just going to show you what I was doing to alter the shape because I just thought it would be a better time to do it than later. And so now I want to put that land area back in there, but like I say, I'm changing it. I'm bringing this on the left and right side. I'm going to be bringing this a lot further forward. So instead of one straight horizon line, now I've got a variation of shape. Much more pleasing to the eye. So now, just going into my dark color, I decided I want a little cabin after all. No, don't ask me why. I just thought it would be neat to have a little cabin stuck in the trees here. So I'm just using just plain brown right now. I've got my little shape here, and now I'm putting in my roof and just bringing that color down a little bit. I just thought a little cabin would look neat stuck in here in the trees out in the woods. And you can make this roof color any color that you like. I chose kind of a, oh, I'm leaning towards a reddish brown color. So that's a little yellow, little crimson. And here for the windows, just a little, it's such a small cabin that you really wouldn't see very much detail. And so I've just got two little strips there of light, just so it looks like somebody's home. And I used just the very dark color for the door. And a little bit of land area here in front of the cabin. Now I want to highlight this roof because where the lightning is striking, some of that light would hit the cabin top, the cabin roof. So now I'm just going to let this sit overnight. I want it to be still wet enough to work with, but I want it to be a little bit tacky to work on this lightning part. So now I've switched over to use my liner brush, the landscape liner brush, because it's a thinner brush and it's a little bit smaller than that wildlife brush. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going over these areas of the lightning. And notice that I'm going to stay close to the center of the strike. I don't want to go way out to the very ends. I'm just doing very close to the center. That's where your brightest area would be. Watch my hand as I do this. Again, I'm just jiggling, twisting, and you know, lightning, it can just go any which way. You don't have to make it, you can just light, if you look at some pictures of lightning, that you'll see that they go sideways, they go up and down, they go everywhere. But you will notice that the main strike is in the center usually, and it goes out from there. Did you know that lightning and thunder, they both happen at the exact same time? I was surprised at that. That's because the speed of sound is slower than the speed of light. And so that's why you see a lightning flash first, and then like seconds later, you'll hear the thunder. And, you know, typically you can hear thunder, you can hear a lightning strike about 10 miles away, but under certain conditions, it can be as far as 20 miles away. And if you do see lightning and you can hear thunder within 30 seconds of a storm, it's very close to you and you should probably take shelter, especially if you're out in it walking or something. I've heard of people getting hit by lightning. Not very good, not very nice. You know, electrical storm like that typically lasts only about 30 minutes. And generally they're around 15 miles in diameter, but that varies a lot. You know, years ago, when I lived in Portland, my doctor, my physician, was in a lightning storm, and there was a lady that was stuck in a car, and I don't know, he went to help her, and he went to reach for the door. Somehow that lightning struck the car, and it just mutilated his hand. It took off his thumb. It burned him so bad that he had to have his thumb removed. And oh my gosh, that was such a tragedy, and I felt sorry for him, but he survived it, thank goodness. He lived and was fine, and he kept on with his practice, even with that one thumb missing from his hand. He just had the 4 fingers on that one hand. Great, great physician. I really liked him. So you can see I put reflection in the water here, and now I'm just lightly just blending that in. Now be sure when you're doing these little outside edges of the strike, just very, very lightly, very, very thin paint, and keep your strongest area towards the center of the strike. You notice as I come out, and these little tiny fingers, they get thinner and thinner and thinner. And let's just go ahead and just do the silver lining on these clouds just a little bit more. And with the blender, I'm just going to blend this one more time. Just kind of sneaking up on it and not doing it all at one time. And then right here in this area, right where that strike comes out of the cloud area in the sky, I want to make sure that this is the brightest area. I'm using still white with just a little touch of yellow and crimson, just the smallest amount. You still want it to be a very light color. and blend out a little bit. Still going to add a few little things here in the sky. So now back to my filbert brush, and just some of my dark colors with some yellow. Make sure there's enough green in there to make that a brighter color, because we're going to do the lightning on the trees now, where the lightest part would hit the trees. And with that filbert brush, I'm just going to lightly tap these trees with a lighter color. Where this lightning hits, it would be brighter. With my knife, I'm just taking a little brown into this yellow and white color, just bringing it flat down. And I'm using the little blade. I just want to make a few kind of, some rocky area on the land. Some dirt and rock. Just put in as many or as few rocks as you would like. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like and a share. I really appreciate that. And now with the little edge of my knife, I just want to highlight these rocks a little bit. Only towards the center of the painting, not towards the right or the left side, because as you get back into the shadows, you'd have less and less light. So just towards the center of the painting, you highlight these rocks here. I want to highlight this upper part of the strike again with more white, with just a touch of yellow and crimson, and just sort of blend that out. You can see how that makes a really impressive light. So here's the finishing touches. Everything is done now. I just lightened the sky a little bit where the strike was coming out, and I also cleaned up this cabin quite a bit. And I also put trees, I highlighted the trees a little bit more. So I'm happy with it now, and I hope you try this painting. Thank you for joining me today. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.